I mean, we made some mistakes in businesses. We lost some money. So part of the reason we created business is to say that if you grow as a person, your business is going to grow.
Kick yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because there's no growth in comfort.
So we went through that aspect of doing something right and doing something wrong. And welcome back to another episode of Buzzing Podcast. We are so excited to have you here. And Jess, so excited to have you here. And I think this is maybe our last podcast for a while now between each other. But looking forward to our next one as well. And going into this, I actually, I'm going to throw you a spanner in the works now, or give you something to reflect on in terms of our journey together. Okay. And this comes to personal growth. And I think this is one of the aspects why we are creating Buzzing as well, is to focus on the personal growth of the entrepreneur. And I want to ask you, in terms of our lives since we've been married and in business, what did you experience from my side, like experience growth on my side? And also, how did you feel the growth was on your side in terms of personal growth? And what do you feel was the main factors of bringing that growth?
That's a big one. That's going to take me more than 15 minutes. We must do another one. That is a very big question. But I can honestly say the biggest thing that made a difference in our lives is our relationship with God. Yeah. Like, that's just completely, there's nothing else. Yeah. I mean, what we are with him is completely different than what we were without him. Yeah. And that's just the biggest thing. And I think everything comes down to that. Everything comes down to that. The business, our personal lives, like our marriage. I mean, we went through a little bit of a challenging time last year. And the thing that got us out of it was just our relationship with God.
Definitely.
It's as easy and difficult as that. That's the thing that I can completely say without a doubt was the thing that has brought us through so many different struggles and things like that, because life happens. Yes. Life happens, and life sometimes sucks. Just to say it very plainly. Like sometimes it's very difficult. But I think having someone that's equally yoked, having someone that's on the same, just on the same level as you, that can pick you up when you're down, or that can, just lead you. And I think that's something that I can really say that I appreciate so much from you, is keeping the order in our marriage. We know God is first, then it's the husband, then it's the wife, and then it's our cute little boys back home. But I think what I can really say is just the way that you lead me, not with arrogance, not with pride, but with love and with grace. And I just want to honor you, actually, just quickly. Just quickly want to honor you for that. That's completely why this is possible. Because of that, because the roots, we're rooted and grounded in love, and not the world's perspective of love, but what God has told, because he is love. So him, basically. Well, I mean, if that answers your question.
Well, I mean, it can't not answer my question. It needs to answer my question. No, and I appreciate you saying that as well. And I think, that something that I experience throughout this is just the support from you as well. And I think in business, we need that support.
Yes,
I think so you were probably the only one that supported this journey when we started off in 2020. Actually the only one that said it's possible, we're gonna be able to do it. And throughout the years until now, you have supported me within that, and that is part of the massive personal growth. Even part of my spiritual growth is because there was certain things where there was just that expectation from you, and that's once again you as my wife just experiencing that you want your husband to be closer to God, and that's the expectation that you should have.
Yes, the standard. What's the standard? Correct. The standard is not the world. The standard is heavenly.
Yeah, 100%. And that is, and that's such a important aspect of personal growth is the spiritual aspect. And at least for us, it's not everyone is there, but for us, that's the most important aspect of personal growth as well. And I think what is so important for personal growth is that is really the thing that grows your business.
Yes.
So part of the reason we created Business is to say that if you grow as a person, your business is going to grow. If you grow as an entrepreneur, your business is going to grow. And I think so much lessons, that we had in life brought us to this point where we found a solution, which is business. And we made better decisions in our accounting practice. And we made some mistakes in businesses. We lost some money. We had businesses, closed down businesses. So we went through that aspect of doing something right and doing something wrong. And the most important thing, which is a focus point on a daily basis, is that personal growth, and having the support system and being able to get to a point where you actually, this is one thing I want to add. What is so important is surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Yes.
And I think that is sometimes we get in business and, I feel sometimes business is such a selfish lifestyle or business with business owners, because it's like nobody wants to see the other person doing better than them.
Yeah.
Where it's actually something which is not. I think there's so much in the economy.
Debunk.
I think there's so much for everyone, and I think there's such a massive impact that can be made when business owners take hands and when people take hands. And I think when at the end of the day, when we start understanding that when we're working together as a unified people,
it's so much better.
That is how we make an impact in the economy. That's how we make an impact in our country. And I feel part of that is just getting that personal revelation of understanding that I need to love my neighbor, right? And I need to care for the person next to me, and I need to love my employees. No matter how difficult it sometimes gets, and the bad decisions the employees make and the bad decisions your clients make and everything, we still need to love them.
Yes.
That's why for us, we pray over our clients in the accounting firm. We want their businesses to succeed. So part of the personal growth, I want to ask you in terms of that, like self-development. What do you see as self-development? And in business with the podcast and everything, do you feel that is a good aspect? How will our listeners at the end of the day be able to use business for self-development?
Sure. In every single aspect of business, there's an aspect of self-development. That's what this whole thing is about. True. But I think also one thing is to kick yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Because there's no growth in comfort. And I feel like your comfort zone is a tricky thing, because it's so comfortable. It says it in the word.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
But I think with business, it puts you out of that comfort zone, because not everyone is comfortable with writing down their feelings. For some, it's very difficult to talk about. For me, it's difficult sometimes to talk about what happened, because it's easier to just keep it inside and to make sure that, okay, let me just deal with it quietly. But once again, there's no growth in that. Yes. So putting yourself out there, even if it's just for yourself in the Buzzin app, it takes a lot, because once you take that little step, okay, now you get comfortable with that. Now that's your new comfort zone. Now the next thing is, okay, you share it with others. Yes. And maybe next time you're on a podcast in Buzzin, sharing what you learned.
Definitely.
So I think, just putting yourself out of that comfort zone is so important to grow yourself, to grow your business, and to make sure that there's a sustainable growth. Not just whoop and then like that, but just a sustainable growth that you can keep going, just to gain momentum.
Definitely. And I think
that's why there's a streak on Buzzin.
Definitely. And I think that's one of the things with self-development. I've heard so many times that the most successful CEOs in America and everything like that, they read 52 books a year. That's one book every single week. And I think part of that is the habit that they are creating in order to read that.
Yes.
It's the knowledge that they learn from other people in terms of that. So I think when it gets
and also the wisdom to implement that.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to have the knowledge, but it's another thing to action it.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. But I think, when you do end up reading 52 books a year, learning from other business people, I think there's so much that you are learning from those people.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is getting to a point when, with business as well, is to bring the listener into the journey of that specific entrepreneur so that they can learn about that and so that they can learn how to better themselves.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, what we need to do is we need to be better people.
Yes.
And it sounds weird,
down to
but
that.
we need to become a better me.
Yeah.
And how can I become a better me? How can I decide something that I'm very, what can I say? I'm procrastinating on this so much is to actually go and exercise. I always find a way or a reason not to. There's always a little bit more emails that I need to do, or there's somewhere I need to be, or there's a meeting that I'm organizing at 4:00 in the afternoon, so I don't have to. And I don't think it's intentional, but it's a bad habit on my side. And it's something that
because why haven't you scheduled it already?
Yes.
Because that's the thing. You must do it now. Okay, let's go and do it. Let's book myself out for that hour to make sure that if a client phones and say, oh, can we quickly get a meeting? You can say, sorry, ne?
Yeah. and that's so true. And I think that's the thing is you need to actually start scheduling it.
Yes.
Part of your diary, part of your calendar, and get to a point where you create that habit of going to the gym. I read this thing one day. I don't know if I read or listened, but it was a guy that said for 6 months, that person, he didn't want to go to the gym, but for 6 months, he went to the gym and he went home without actually exercising, but just getting himself into the pattern of going to the gym and going home, going to the gym, going home, going to the gym, going home, to create that habit. And we need to create healthy habits for ourselves. That's part of self-development. It's the habits that we need to form. It's that tiny changes that we need to do on a consistent basis. And that's why so many people and successful business owners has read Atomic Habits from James Clear. Because
that's where you listen to that.
Yes.
Because you listen to Atomic Habits. So when you said, I can't remember if I read or listened, you kind of did both. Because it's a book that you listen to.
But so that's part of the thing that, you need to constantly adapt to is finding, getting to a point where you actually start creating that habit for you, getting to a point where you do that self-development, where you learn more. And that's where we as business owners and entrepreneurs need to get to a point. It's like constantly improving ourselves because that is, and I think we are repeating that word now to constantly improve ourselves, but that's what it's coming down to. Because the more we improve ourselves, the better we are going to handle situations. Yes. The more we understand what's happening in the economy, we're going to adapt in our business environment. The more we know and we see how technology is growing and how fast it's changing, the more we're going to understand that we need to implement technology into our businesses, or else we are going to fall behind.
Exactly.
And the way that we build a culture with our employees, the way that we treat other clients, the way that we build everything around our business is when we come back to understanding who we are.
Yeah.
What is my identity? And I think that is such a big, important thing for us to be successful in business, is to understand who we are. And so I want to encourage the listeners as well, that in business, we need to find the identity in ourselves. We need to find the identity of who we are and try and implement that in your business. So if there's something that you are personally struggling with, try and find a solution on that and see what impact it makes in your business. And part of business is we want to create an environment for you as the listener to really adapt, to change yourself, and to start focusing on your journey as an entrepreneur. Focus on you as the business owner. because we believe in you.
Yes.
And you are so important to this economy. You are so important to this country. And we want to walk this journey with you. And we created Bizzing to become a solution to you as a listener. Des, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for being my wife. And I look forward with this journey.
Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you, Daisy.
Okay. Until next time.